Stay connected to your community and save. Just 99 cents a month gets you 3 months of unlimited access to Inform.com. Visit Inform.com/subscribe and get your first 3 months of news for only 99 cents a month.
North Dakota man was once tallest in the world. Clifford Thompson was born near Rugby, North Dakota in 1904. He became a lawyer, actor, and beer pitchman. Hi, this is Tracy Briggs, and welcome to this week's episode of Back Then. Well, if you ever need an example of someone who turned lemons into lemonade, or more specifically, an overactive pituitary gland into an adventurous and fascinating life, look no further than Clifford Thompson, the North Dakota giant. Born in 1904 to average-sized homesteading parents in Sylva, North Dakota, Thompson was recorded at standing 8 feet 7 inches tall. However, his exact height has been disputed over the years, with some claiming he was only about 7 feet 5 inches tall. Fairly recent photo analysis estimates he was probably between 8'3" and 8'6". In 1940, following the death of the tallest man to ever live, Illinois' Robert Wadlow, who was recorded at standing 8 feet 11 inches tall, Thompson was presumed to take the title World's Tallest Man. So here are just a few stats from the North Dakota giant. At 8 feet 7 inches tall, Clifford Thompson was 3 feet taller than the average American man in 1930, who, according to the CDC, had an average height of 5 feet 7. He weighed 460 pounds. According to the Wisconsin history site whoknew.com, he could down 3 pounds of steak, 3 extra-large baked potatoes, several servings of veggies, a quart of milk, and an entire apple pie in one meal. He wore a size 22 shoe and a size 9 hat, and his ring was so big you could drop a $50 through it. Thompson's family moved from North Dakota to Scandinavia, Wisconsin when he was still pretty young. That's why when you do research on these things, a lot of people call him the Wisconsin giant because he spent most of his life there, but of course, North Dakota stakes claim to him as well. He attended the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point with the hopes of becoming a teacher, but after graduation, he couldn't find a job. He assumed later that, sadly, superintendents were afraid he would scare the children. So Thompson made the best of it by joining the circus. Fortunately, he made a lot more money in the circus than he would have as a teacher. He earned a pretty impressive $125 a week as the feature giant for circuses, including Ringling Brothers. During his time under the big top, he also attracted attention from Hollywood, appearing in a handful of movies, including a couple of Tarzan features starring Johnny Weissmuller. Those movie appearances earned him the title tallest man to ever appear in the movies. He had worked in the circus for 12 years when he met and fell in love with a Milwaukee nightclub dancer named Mary Mars. He retired from the circus, they married, and he later worked as a salesman in Wisconsin. One of his first sales jobs was promoting the Ford V8 as, quote, roomy enough for a giant, end quote. According to whoknew.com, the Wisconsin milk industry hired him one summer to walk around the state fair wearing a sign that said, drink milk, look what it did for me. But later, he'd have a little more fun as a beer pitchman for Blatt's Brewery, where he earned yet another title, World's Tallest Salesman. But he still wasn't content. He then enrolled in law school at Marquette University, where, guess what happened then? He would have another title to his name, World's Tallest Lawyer. Thompson seemed to take all of the how's the weather up there jokes in stride, and he even claimed that his height wasn't from his glandular problem, but from his tall, proud Scandinavian Viking roots. Unfortunately, Thompson wouldn't live a long life. He died at the age of 51 from cancer and gallstone complications. But he's remembered right back where it all began in North Dakota. In 1987, the Pioneer Village Museum in Rugby, now the Prairie Village Museum, acquired a suit Thompson wore in his sales and legal days. In 1987, volunteers spent months making a papier-mâché mannequin to help fill it out. If you want to see this picture, it's pretty funny. It is at inform.com, and it shows a woman that is probably about 5'2", standing next to this very tall mannequin. She hits about his waist, so it's pretty dramatic. Of course, through the years, school children and tourists have filtered into the museum to look at that mannequin and honor one of rugby's most famous sons, a giant man who obviously had a giant talent for working with what he had. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Back Then. We'll be back next week.
Get reliable and accurate local news with Inform.com. Inform.com is your trusted local news source with journalists dedicated to keeping you informed about what's happening in your community. Visit Inform.com now.